Alright, what's going on, guys? A lot of us have gotten our hands on the Season 3 patch, and a lot of people aren't very happy with it. So I figured I would just make a video that goes over all of the important changes and what they mean. In terms of my overall thoughts on the patch, I think that most of it is pretty good, to be honest. Actually evaluating how the moves should be used and like whether or not they complement or supplement the character's strengths or cover up weaknesses. It seems like there are a few characters who got buffed in ways that I disagree with, but generally speaking, a lot of the problem characters, especially characters that I would consider for problems, ended up getting nerfed. So overall, I think the game is 100% without a doubt in a better state. It's going to depend obviously a lot on the types of characters you're playing against. So I think that Xiaoyu, Lili, Leo all got mega buffed. Don't really know why that happened. But yeah, if you're not playing against these characters a lot, then the game's probably going to feel a little bit better. And I personally think the game's going to be fine in a couple of months. But, you know, obviously we will see how things go. Is this like the patch to save all patches? Absolutely not. But things are clearly better now than they were before. So let's get into the changes. All right, so let's start with Alisa. The biggest thing is that her 13 frame punish, or one of the 13 frame punishes, her standing 4, this now can go into chainsaws. So that is very good. One issue, if you can even call it that, if she had it before, so I think her punishment was fine, but if she punished something on 13, she kind of had to go into heat or take her 12 frame, which has no Oki because it knocks you so far away. So being able to do this and go into chainsaws while only giving up a little bit of damage is fine. This is going to be a buff sometimes. One of the issues is that what a better Alisa players will do is they'll follow this up with up 4-2. And what that does is if your opponent does anything besides duck or block, then this up forward 2 will hit them here. There's literally nothing they can do to get away from that. So they have to block there. As a consequence, I think that this is a very minor buff. So, cool. I don't think Alisa is like top tier anyways. A lot of people are really high in this character. I super disagree with that. So, my opinion, totally fine change. Next, we have back to 4. In my opinion, this is mostly used for wall carry, but I suppose you can use this as a mix-up string because we have back to 3. So, you know, we can do back to 4, going to chainsaws of -7. I do not think that this matters at all. So, cool. If you use it for wall carry, you don't want to be in chainsaws. The only other change worth talking about is we have this new move, up back 1. I don't know why you would use this move. I guess it's a fast-ish mid at 19 frames that goes into chainsaws whether or not they get hit. So that's cool. This does not track for weak side. So if you're going to be sidestep right ducking anyways, this move doesn't do anything. So yeah, I think Alisa's about the same. There weren't any like super meaningful changes. In my opinion, she is very minorly buffed. Next, we have Armor King. Basically, the only like real changes are the Armor King like damage is down across the board, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Some hitbox issues, which is cool, but he did get a new move in down back 3/4. So this move. This actually high crushes, so this goes under highs, which is good. I'm gonna have jab and then electric here. Yeah, so clearly it goes under it, which is good stuff. His combos just do less damage now, so that is also cool. But beyond that, this new move, it is safe, so that's cool. This move does not track to either side. So, yeah, I don't think this is like that great. It is cool, because it's another evasive move for Armor King. I don't know why this 30-foot tall Jaguar man needs an evasive move, but yeah, in terms of like whether or not this is a meaningful buff, Armor King is 100% worse than he was before the patch. Spoiler alert, Anna got obliterated. It is really bad. It's good if you're defending against her, obviously, but if you're playing Anna and you really enjoy this character, sorry, it's not good. So, her 2 drab, this is no longer a G class. Nothing is guaranteed here. Cool. Her down back 4, nothing is guaranteed here on counter hit. Cool. Her down forward 1-2-4, she does not get a heat engager now if this counter hits. Instead, she just gets the normal hit and knockdown because it does a little bit more damage. Cool. Forward 4-2. This gives nothing on normal hit if it does not wall sweat. Oh, I don't actually think this can wall sweat. It can't wall sweat. So yeah, should we get nothing? Down back 4, we don't get that. Wine opener whiffs. Up forward 2. Forward 4-4. All of it whiffs. So yeah, not good. We also had her full crouch down forward 2 changed. So with this move, this no longer tracks to either side. This typically will track a sidewalk right. This no longer tracks right. So yeah, even on +5 does not track to either side, which is very obnoxious. If you're the Anna player, if you're not, it's awesome. Also, her full crouch down forward 1, this is -12 now, so -10. Cool. Yeah, so she got obliterated, which is fine. The other thing is that she got a bunch of new moves, and they're all bad. So let's set block all. We have down 1+2. This is a reactable low that is -18 on block, and it gives nothing on counter hit. That +6 is what she gets on normal hit. It does high crush though, so that's cool. If you have a hard read, then you can do that. You should probably just crouch and do this instead. But yeah, that is a move that exists. And finally, we have her 2 up forward 1. This is a -14 high. Yeah, it does wall splat, so that's cool. This is not guaranteed on counter hit. Actually getting the move to come out is very hard. But yeah, this is not guaranteed on counter hit. So yeah. Up next is Asuka. This character is definitely worse, for sure. We're just gonna start with that. The 2 biggest nerfs are that down 1+2. This move does not guarantee install anymore, and that's mainly because if done at tip range, the forward 2 will miss, and the forward 3+4, this will basically always miss. That never hits anymore. Also, if done at tip range, down forward 3 will miss as well, so that is good. But the down forward 3 will hit if not done at tip range. So if we're here, so you will see it whiffs there, but from here, this hits pretty reliably. So it's 35 damage. It's not bad. This down back 3, this will also track a side roll right sometimes. But yeah, you can see it's pretty hard to get a meaningful follow-up here. Asuka can basically only use this at the wall, which is good. That's good stuff in my opinion. Beyond that, we have had some damage nerfs across the board. While running 1+2, this is nerfed in terms of damage. Can is nerfed in terms of damage. Down 1+2, this is also nerfed in terms of damage. So that is all good stuff. In terms of new moves, we have this up back 1+2. This does not track her weak side, so I don't really know what the point of this move is. So if I do like this, yeah, this is no tracking to her weak side, so don't really know why you would use it, but it does knock down, so that is cool. Yeah, it can recover in crouch, or she can cancel it, so I guess it's another feint for her to have. Same thing with the lower Heihachi dance, so this into the snake edge. She can cancel the snake edge into full crouch, so that is cool, I suppose. Again, don't really know why you'd use that. Her forward 2, if this hits an opponent on the ground, it will knock them away instead of pancake flipping, so it's a loss. It's steel pedal effect. And that's pretty much it. Damage being down across the board is good. This, when she has her install and that hits you, it reduces the scaling even more. So yeah, in general, damage should be meaningfully lower, 5 to 10 damage less on a lot of her combos. And yeah, this move is not very good out in the open. So, cool. Also, loses her install whenever she leaves heat for any reason. So that is a really, really big deal. And I think this character is going to be a little bit worse. I think she should have gotten a hit much harder. But, you know, not every character can get what happened to Anna happen to them. Azucena got this new evasive low, her sidestep 4. On counter hit, this does give her a lot of frames. But yeah, it's an evasive low out of sidestep, 0 on hit. She does recover in crouch if she wishes to, so that is cool. But yeah, this low, it seems fine. She needs to step with you in order to get it to hit. So if I do something like this, yeah, she has to step with you. If she steps away from you, then it will whiff. So that is good stuff there. Her standing 4, this now hard tracks left, which is fine. Azucena is not a character with terrible tracking, but if she is fighting against Lili or Alisa, she basically can't hit them unless she's using a homing button. So having just another button that hits these characters does help her a lot. For most other characters, they can't reliably step a lot of her moves anyways, so I don't think it's the biggest deal. But yeah, this is definitely good for her harder matchups. Beyond that, we have this forward 3. This is faster and tracks right. Cool. I don't think that's a huge deal. We did get a bunch of buffs for some moves that now give guaranteed follow-ups. So if I turn this off, her armor, instead of forcing a back roll, it knocks you on your butt, so she can run up and do some Oki stuff. That is cool. Her down forward 1-4, 1-2. This will give a crouch grab on normal hit. That is pretty good. So it makes this a real mix-up. So, you know, it is what it is. And finally, her 3-2. This will give a crouch grab on counter hit. So, yeah, her counter hit game has been made much better, and her matchup against Lili and Alisa is also a little bit better. For everyone else, I think this character is going to be about the same, but she did get very minorly buffed. Next, we have Brian. As with Asuka as an install character, his install is significantly worse, so that is good stuff. Sidestep 2-1, this can be canceled now. So if he notices that the first hit is blocked, he can basically always rip this and then decide to cancel it if he thinks that you are going to duck. So that is cool, lets him be a little bit safer. However, if you have a read on this cancel, he is -15. So yeah, do be careful. If you are a Brian player, I would not mash that. Back 3, 1+2. This move gets this new type of knockdown. This is the floor break knockdown. So all of the moves that have this knockdown, they all always had a guaranteed follow-up, but now it just indicates that this will also floor break too. So cool. On floor break stages, this is a counter hit launcher. This move isn't very good, so I don't think it matters that much. Back 4, if this hit from behind, it would not do that. It would stumble them and they could keep getting hit by back 4s. So they would either have to just keep eating the back 4 until the back turn pushback knocked them really far away, or they would have to turn around and get launched. So yeah, typically you'd only use this at the wall to get rid of the, oh, they can just keep getting hit by back 4 until it knocks them away. But if you used them at the wall, it was broken. It was really, really insanely powerful. Next, we have Taunt Heat Smash. This is pretty severely nerfed. This is now, I believe this is a just frame. A lot of people were saying that this is still free, but yeah, this does not seem like you can get this for free. You do have to time this. Like, before, when I've showed you guys this before, I was mashing it pretty early, and yeah, this seems to be a just frame now. So, cool. Even if it's not a true just frame, it is still much easier, which is very good. Sidestep 1, I've never seen anyone use this move before, but if he does this sidestep 1, then this is guaranteed. So that is cool. Also, if he is in heat, then he can use Incinerator. So if we do something like this, we can do this, or we can do this. So that is cool. More likely than not, you would probably use this as a taunt setup if you're good enough to do that. But yeah, cool. I've never seen that move, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. Let's talk about Incinerator. -7, -10, -13 with very little pushback. Good stuff. This also uses more heat, so the mix-up here is whether or not he finishes the string. So the string isn't like unusable, but this string is much worse. Also, the 4th and 5th hit have way worse tracking, which, you know, good. This does 10 chip instead of 14. Still too much in my opinion, but it is what it is. Now, if it absorbs a hit, this will no longer wall splat. So I'm going to have Jin do this. Yeah, this does not wall splat anymore. So, cool. Brian is nerfed pretty substantially. He's still going to be a great character, of course, especially if you're good at Brian. But this character is very nerfed. Claudio is also an install character, and as such, he got some pretty significant nerfs with his install going away when he is out of heat. So that is good stuff. We got this new move in up back 2. This move is okay. If he sidestep lefts into sidestep 4, then this will hit and give him his install. Cool. If he sidestep rights, this does not. And also, if he is on +4, this has no tracking whatsoever. So this move is okay. You know, it's fine. I don't think it's very good. They buffed this move for whatever reason. I didn't even know Claudio had this move, and I don't think it's very good. So, cool. They buffed a move that no one uses. Nice. His up 4-2. This has significantly worse tracking because it's active for only 1 frame now. Yeah, that is not great. Down forward 3-1. This is -14 now, so characters are getting really big punishes against this move, which is really, really good. Brian and Paul can launch that, and Amishima if you're cracked. So that is good stuff. Back 3-3. This is -12 now. That was -10 before. Don't know what that's about. We also have sidestep 4. This no longer has a counter hit property. That is huge. Claudio got really big nerfs here. So Clive did get a bunch of nerfs. He also got some buffs for his meter. So he builds a meter faster. His meter does a little bit less damage, but he builds a meter pretty substantially faster. So that is cool. I think if they invested all this time into this meter, he should probably be forced to use it. We have this new move called Wicked Wheel. It is this. I think this move is stupid, but it does have very good tracking. This is not possible for normal characters to step on plus frames. So yeah, keep that in mind. You cannot stop that. However, the first hit is -17, and the second hit is a high. So yeah, there is no mix-up here. Also, the animations are very different whether or not he finishes the string. So it's very obvious which one is going to happen, so you always get a big launch. His Heat Smash is now -5 on block with a bunch of pushback, so he's going to have a very hard time mixing you up from back there. If you backdash, you'll evade his back 2, for instance, so that is cool. 2-2-2, this is now -11. That is important because, one, this can be punished, but they also made 2-2-1+2. They made this -9. However, 2-2-1+2 has no tracking to either side. So yeah, they improved the counterplay here, but if you're just gonna sit here and block, then Clive will be able to get meter for free, which is good for Clive. Next, we have 1+2. They have dramatically reduced the tracking. So that is sidewalk right. It used to track sidewalk right and sidewalk left. Yeah, this move's tracking is much, much worse, which is very good as the defender. Back 2 has been reduced from +6 to +4. Depending on the character you're playing, this is actually a buff for Clive, and it's because of the way his armor interacted with hop kicks. if you had a 15 frame hop kick, because he was +6 going into a 21 frame armor, his armor would actually expire on the same frame as your hop kick. So what would happen is that they would trade instead of him actually armoring you, which means that your hop kick would beat 5 out of 6 options. Now, because it's only +4, his armor will actually beat hop kicks, which means that this is better against hop kicks specifically. However, it is much worse against crouch jabs. So the armor will still beat a crouch jab. The 2 option loses. 1+2 loses. The 3+4, the jumping option, it takes so long to actually jump that loses. The hell sweep loses. The fast wall loses. And the grab loses. So he has to armor to beat a crouch jab, which is good. So yeah, if you don't have a hop kick, this is much, much better for you. If you do have a hop kick, then it's a little bit worse. Next, wall running 2 is +8 instead of +14. This is a nerf, but this feels mostly cosmetic. Yeah, you still don't have a lot that you can do on +8, unfortunately. So you mostly have to just block. For instance, this slide, you can't jump over the slide on +8. At least most characters can't. So yeah, this is mostly a cosmetic change, but it is less plus, so that is good. And finally, full crouch down forward 2. This is a -13 instead of -12, so you will be able to get a much larger punish there. Devil is largely unchanged, though he did get a new wall standing punish, so we can do wall standing 1-4 to get a wall splat. So that is cool stuff. It makes his crouching punishment very, very good. He already got the wall standing 2, being 14 frames, so getting this is pretty huge. It said that they've strengthened the tracking when transitioning to Morning Crow. I think that just means if he does Morning Crow, he will like always fly towards you. This stance has really good tracking anyway, so you don't really want to be sidestepping here, but cool. That is nice. The only other thing really worth talking about in my opinion, well, I guess there's two things. So this now gives a down forward 1-2. This move is very hard to actually land on someone, but if you do land it, then cool. You can get a wall splat there. And finally, we can do CD down forward 3 in order to get this, which is really good. Normally, you would have to crouch into wall standing 3, which made this really easy to drop. And before the patch, you would have to do a crouch dash, let go, and then do 3+4. Now this is much easier to do. That is much, much easier. I don't play this character, but I like labbed that combo. That is much easier to do, trust me. But yeah, that's basically the only thing that they changed. So Devil's punishment gets a little bit better, and his combos get a little bit more consistent. So Dragunov gets the second hit of his 4-1 in up back 1, so he gets that by itself. I'm not 100% sure why you would use this, though it does have an okay counter property, so that's cool. Don't really know why you would use it, but that is cool. The only other thing is that his forward 1+2, this has crazy range now, and it's faster. This was already a good whiff punisher, but now this hits from like range 3.2, 3.3. This is a crazy whiff punisher. Like, if you whiff literally anything against drag, you're eating this every single time. That's really the only thing that's different. He can also pigeonroll from crouch. Full crouch 3+4 will pigeonroll towards the screen, and while standing 3+4 will pigeonroll away from the screen. So cool. Drag is more or less the same. His whip punishment's a little bit better. So Eddy got nerfed for some reason. I don't really know why they did that, so that's weird. But so when he is in Negativa now, or relaxed rather, this 1 comes out in 14 frames instead of 17 frames. So this now frame traps after 4-4-3. That is good. The issue is that this on counter hit isn't very good. So if we do a 1-3, cool, he gets some frames and some damage. That's not that good. What does he have to pay in order to get this? This second hit doesn't counter hit launch anymore. So if we do this, that's not a counter hit launcher anymore. Great. They also nerfed the frames on a bunch of his moves, and he got this new move that doesn't matter. So, yep, he just got nerfed. I have no clue why they did that. For Fahkumram, as with all of the other install characters, he loses install when he comes out of heat. Fahkumram already had like consistency issues with his install where you could get counter hit out of the startup and it would still burn the install. So that is ultra annoying. So his install is even less prevalent now. To compensate for that, his down 4 on counter hit, this will give him install. So that is great. We also got this new move, up 4, 3+4. This has a really good hitbox, and it does a decent amount of damage. So this is actually a really good move to make his combos more consistent. One of the issues with using this move as your tornado is that it causes a low slump. So if that puts them on the wall, more often than not, you won't be able to get a follow-up. That is not true with this. This has a very good hitbox, does 3 more damage, puts you right in their face. Really, really good for his combos. His combos are much more consistent now. Beyond that, there was an issue where his forward 4, this would have some evasion, so that does not evade anymore. And the hitbox on this charge and him doing the hell sweep, both of those hitboxes prevent him from counter hitting you if you're behind him. So that is cool. And finally, his forward 4-1. This will now do the instant floor break. He gets the same follow-up here, but the instant floor break is a nice touch. Overall, his combos getting more consistent does mean that every time you get launched, you're taking significantly more damage. You're taking at least 3 more damage, but more importantly than that, he's gonna be able to get a wall combo basically every time he launches. So I would expect Fahkumram's damage to be pretty significantly higher, which is a decent buff. The install nerf does like compensate that though, so he's probably overall the same or like very slightly better. Feng is more or less the same. He can shifting clouds now from a back turn, so that is cool. That's pretty good, I guess. He can also heat burst and heat smash from shifting clouds, so that is cool as well. When he is in heat, the back 3+4, this does less damage now, so that is cool. They also significantly nerfed his down back 2, which is kind of a noob string, but because the last hit had very little counterplay, it was actually completely fine. But so this first hit is -15 now. This used to be -11. This second hit is still -16 or -17 depending, but this last hit is now -14. So Feng, if he stops here, he the mix-up is whether or not he gets launched or takes an okay punish, rather than the mix-up being whether or not he's gonna finish it or he gets a -8. So yeah, this string is pretty significantly worse now. You can just block after you get hit by the first blow. You're always getting a very big punish here. Finally, the Shifting Clouds 2. This is more plus now. So it's +3 in the back turn or 0. Normally this used to be 0 in the back turn or -3 normally. So cool. His pressure is a tiny bit better. This nerf, the down back 2, that's going to make Feng a lot worse at lower ranks, but in higher ranks, he's going to be about the same. I don't think that the Shifting Clouds 2 being more plus is that big of a deal. Yeah, Feng is more or less the same. So Heihachi is actually bugged right now. His new move isn't supposed to be that good, right? Because, you know, it's this. If he empty charges it, it has no tracking to either side, so that is just not very good. On counter hit, it does do this knockdown. You could actually get an Omen here with really, really crazy execution for like 58 damage, which is nuts. So that's cool. He can also charge it to get this and get frames. So cool. If he knocks you down, he's gonna run up to you and do this, and then cool. You have to hold a +4, which, as we know, is not crazy good. The issue is you can actually mash the up back 1+2. So if I press up back and mash 1+2, we get an instant charge. This is obnoxious. having a 15 frame, it's basically a 15 frame forward 4. Having a 15 frame forward 4 is really toxic. So I'm assuming that's going to get nerfed. But besides that, basically the only thing that is different is this heat smash doesn't wall splat anymore, which is really, really good. This coming out instantly is incredibly annoying, but it having no tracking makes it much better. Heihachi is definitely worse, but this is not good. That needs to be removed. All right, now we have Hwoarang. Hwoarang, again, his heat smash no longer wall splats. That is good. He got a new move. I don't know what the point of this move is. It has no tracking to either side. So that is cool, I guess. And it's also minus 13 on block. I don't know why you'd ever use that move, but cool. They changed his while standing 2-3. This does 4 more damage now. Cool. Don't think he needed any buffs there, but you know, it is what it is. And backlash is actually easier to duck. So you see here, this is a little bit easier to launch consistently. Like, yeah, like I'm going pretty late here, and you can like wait for it to clear your character's head and then launch. Obviously, Jin has a 14 frame launcher, so it's easy for me to say that, but this is much easier to launch now. Like, if you can duck this every single time, you will be able to get a launch every single time, which is a massive deal. That is a welcome nerf. And back 1 is a minus 15 now. Yeah, that is launch punchable by most of the cast. That's a really good. A lot of his like heat pressure is still basically the same, which is a little bit annoying. Like down back 4 is still the best low in the game. But yeah, some pretty sizable nerfs here, especially against a lower rank Hwoarang, so we're just throwing out backlash and using back 1 after every interaction. You're going to get a lot more damage against these guys. Jack has mostly been left the same. His new move is okay. It's this back 3+4. It's this headbutt. The issue with this move is it does not track his weak side. So, you know, it is fine. However, it does track his strong side. And if it hits you, then he gets a crouch throw. So that is cool stuff there. Beyond that, he's had a bunch of behavioral adjustments where a lot of, so if this or this, if these hit you from the side, Jack will force you to face him, so you have to hold the mix-up instead of it knocking you down a little, which is annoying, but, you know, cool. His 4-4-1, this does the new floor break animation. I don't know if he could always get the, this. I don't know if this was always guaranteed, but it is now if it wasn't before, so that is cool stuff. The 4-3+4, this gives 4 more frames of advantage, or not advantage, but it recovers a little bit faster. So I think what this means is that if he is using this in combos or something, that he has more freedom with the moves that he can pick. So that is cool. The only other meaningful change, and this is super annoying, I actually don't know why they changed this, 4-4-2-2, this is now safe. So this is a mix-up. Yeah, I don't think you can interrupt this. I actually haven't tested this, so I will check this now. Normally, you would just hop kick the low. So let's see if Jin can hop kick the mid. Yeah, you can't hop kick this anymore. So this is like a real mix-up if he's gonna do this or if he's gonna do the low, which is extremely annoying. That is not good. So that is a super meaningful buff. So yeah, basically 4-4-2 has a lot more utility now because there is this safe mid, which is insanely annoying. I can't understate how ridiculous that is. So that is a safe mid. Hopefully Jack players just won't use it, so it's not that big of a deal. But that is a safe mid, so you can't just option select the string where you mash a hop kick. But yeah, I guess getting counter hit by the second move isn't that big of a deal, so maybe it's not that bad. But yeah, they now have counterplay to you mashing a hop kick. And that is pretty much it. The new move doesn't seem ultra useful, but it is a plus on block mid, so that is cool. And his install is worse, so that is worse for Jack. Overall, I'd say he is about the same. It's going to depend a lot on how many people are using the string. I cannot for the life of me tell you why Jin was buffed, but he was, so here we are. He did get compensation buffs for the Heat Smash, so this no longer wall splats. That is very, very good. Also, 2-4 is no longer a strong aerial tailspin, so that is very good. So if we do an electric, yeah, he doesn't get that obnoxious pickup that he was getting before. So that is good stuff. His combos, they aren't really worse because like the down forward 2-4, this is still a strong aerial tailspin. So yeah, I don't think his combos are like that much worse, but cool. So those are the 2 nerfs he got. Now let's see what he got for buffs, and it is a lot. First, down 2. This has a counter hit property again. Don't know why they did that. If you're cracked, you can do a crouch cancel CD1. I did the wrong button here. So yeah, if you're good, you can do that, which is good stuff. But I guess it's still not a counter hit launcher, so that's cool. Yeah, don't know why that was buffed. Beyond that, the 2-1-4. So this now does this type of knockback. I don't think this is meaningfully different than the rollback. Basically, it just lets Jin get Oki here instead of getting literally nothing. So that is a minor buff. It's still -10, so it is what it is. Now let's talk about the like really insane stuff that I don't know why he got. So let's have this guy set to block. Down forward 2 gets extension, and down forward 2 1+2. This is plus on block. This already is very hard for regular characters to step, so this having an extension is really annoying, especially because this knocks you really far away and wall splats. Yeah, I don't know why that is in the game. It's not that bad for me, because my character can step this reliably. That is extremely annoying. So, cool. 4-4 1+2. This is much faster now. So, that's not good. Not only is this much faster, this Omen here is safe on block. Why is that important? This is a launcher. Couldn't tell you why that was made safe, but whatever, I guess. Also, the electric has a little bit less pushback, so Jin can actually enforce his offense from here. So that is good for Jin players. You know, they've been struggling, I guess, because 2-1-4 isn't just the most broken string of all time. Yeah, that is that's Jin. Could not tell you what was going on here. Up next is June. The biggest buff that she got, in all honesty, is that she now has a 14-frame punish. She did not have a 14-frame punish before, so that is cool. We have 3-1. This is a 14-frame punish, and that wall splats. So, great. Cool. Nothing super crazy there. This no longer knocks down because it's now a punish, and it is a -10 on block, but it is a mid-high now. So if June is like ripping this in the neutral, then you can duck and launch it, and this has no follow-ups. So as a string, it's not very good, but her having a chunkier punish for 14 frames is welcome for June players. This parry, this does 5 damage now. Not the biggest deal, but, you know, cool. Her down forward 1-1. This is +5 on hit instead of +2 on hit, so her 13-frame punish is a little bit better. Normally, she would do just a 1+2, but if she wanted frames, then she could do down forward 1-1, and that is a pretty good punish there. Her can has also been nerfed. This does 20 damage instead of 25, so that is good. Her armor is way faster now, so this is 22 frames instead of 29 frames. Don't know why we did that, but that is, again, great for June players. And her full crouch or down forward 2, this now has the same treatment that Asuka's has, where this, instead of this being +14 real and then +18G, this is now just +14. So it's to indicate that this is supposed to be a counter hit launcher. So cool, that is all good. This is a minor change, but while standing 2, you can't really buffer the while standing 1 now. So if you were trying to delay this, this is technically a buff, because if you get the counter hit launch, then it's very easy to pick this up. You won't accidentally cancel your counter hit launch by trying to do a delayed 1. So that is a pretty good buff there. For sidestep 4, this has no pushback now, so you have to hold a lot of this pressure, which can be very annoying. Overall, she is buffed, which is crazy because this character is kind of nuts. So yeah, June being stronger now is not correct, but you know, whatever, cool. Up next, we have Kazuya. He's more or less been left intact. He has a lot of hitbox fixes, which is cool. But the biggest thing is that this recovers a little bit faster. So that is cool for Kazuya. It's nicer for combos because hitting follow-ups after that strong arrow tailspin is pretty hard. So more consistent combos is always nice. When he is in heat, he can now do the same knockdown from forward forward 2. He can do that. This isn't very good. I guess it's more damage and it will push them really close to the wall. So that it's good for like wall carry, I guess. But I don't think it's that crazy. Oh, also, this is no longer guaranteed after a heat dash. So that is very, very good. That is always welcome. Let me just show what that looks like. Yeah, so that is not guaranteed anymore. Good stuff. And down back 2, this is a real button now. So on counter hit, this gives the 4 break knockdown. That is cool. And it's only -4 on block while being faster at 18 frames instead of 20. So this is just a good neutral tool now. He does recover in crouch, but I don't believe the move has any crushing. So cool. So King got a launching throw. This sounds really scary, but in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal. So you can get this, which is okay. I think if you blue spark this, it's 58. It's 57. So normally this is going to be a 57 damage 1 break, which given that he has giant swing, I don't know why that's a thing. But because it is a launcher, he can put you on the wall, and then you will obviously take much more than that. So cool. I don't think this is a big deal. If you have good throw breaks, this is a dedicated 1 break, and King, like, that's not ambiguous, right? So not everyone's gonna be able to break Giant Swing versus Shining Wizard reliably. You should be breaking this. So it's not that big of a deal, at least in my opinion, that throw launches. So cool. This move is -5 on block instead of -9. That is pretty good. Down forward 2. This move has worse tracking now. If he's on egregious plus frames, it's still gonna hit you, obviously. But if he's like here, you can step it on +5, which is really, really good. That is nice. His sidestep 2, this does something different on counter hit. Cool. He gets this. Nice. That is good stuff. King's down forward 3. This now has much better tracking right. So cool. That's going to be impossible to step if you step right, which is very annoying. But, you know, it is what it is. I do not believe that high is guaranteed, so it's not the biggest deal. Beyond that, out of Jaguar Sprint, he can actually do this, which is cool. I don't think this is like ultra meaningful unless people are mashing on your stance. So a lot of people will backswing blow on this stance. So like Lars, Azucena, they can backswing blow this stance. This will beat you backswing blow on the stance. So cool. King now has more counterplay to that. But yeah, King seems about the same. Down forward 2 getting a tracking nerf to the point where it's not tracking on +5 is colossal. But this tracks now. So I don't know if... I don't know. Doesn't seem like a huge nerf in my opinion. I feel like King is more or less the same or even slightly better. Bears are probably about the same or very, very slightly worse, which is kind of weird because I think they were very good to begin with. So first, they got a Hell Sweep. This is like a real Hell Sweep now, which is good. Cool. That is good for them. Kuma's Electric. These are even worse now. 0 with no charge and only +5 with charge with no pushback, basically. So that is not amazing. Kuma moves forward a tiny bit when they do their stance. So that is cool as well. Up 1+2. This move is much better on hit, and it's pretty insane on counter hit because you get to run this 50-50 for free. You also get a bunch of guaranteed damage if you want to go for guaranteed damage. So this is much better on counter hit, but on block it is -7, so that's not good. Also, QCF2 too. This isn't a launcher anymore, which is really weird, but cool. He does get that for free. Assuming you get hit by the low. But one, we've already talked about this. There's no mix-up. If you want to see the video, then I will link it. But yeah, that's not a launcher anymore. So cool. The other changes don't matter. There's hitbox stuff. So yeah, Lars got blasted, which is kind of funny. It's not like Omega nerfs, but it is funny. This move does the new floor splatting knockdown with guaranteed follow-up. That is cool. He has up forward 1. This can be canceled. I don't think this is that good, but cool. He can also go into limited entry, so that is cool, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't really know what the move is. This is no longer strong arrow tailspin. Great stuff. His back 2-3. This second hit can be delayed. So that is cool. Also, the first hit tracks left now. Like it's homing to the left, which is nice. Dynamic entry 1+2. This is no longer a launcher. So, cool. This does give this knockdown. Right? So he gets like this, and then he gets that for free. So it's 40 damage. That is not a launcher. This also, it feels like its hitbox has been adjusted. This move, like, can't hit aerial opponents. I've tried to make it hit aerial opponents. It is really hard for this to hit aerial opponents. So, yeah, it's also -1 on block now instead of -10. But overall, this is a pretty colossal nerf. So, cool. I'm down for Lars nerfs. Silent entry 1. This is now -9 instead of -6, which is really, really big. And Silent Entry 2 no longer counter hit launches. It just gives this a knockdown. So it does this now. That is really insane because it means that every time he does Dynamic Entry 3, you can armor and you're going to beat everything besides the low. But if he goes for the low, you're only taking 43 damage instead of getting put on the wall and taking 100. So this is a huge nerf for Lars. Besides that, they've just fixed some input issues, but yeah, Lars is way worse, which I'm down for. As with all the other wall splatting heat smashes, Lars is gone, so that is good. So he can do his back turn. I don't remember how to get into back turn. He can do his back turn 1+2 facing forward with up back 1+2. I don't know why he would use this because he already has good homing moves that have really good hitboxes, but this is +1 on block, so that is cool, I suppose. Good stuff. His 1+2, this is not an exaggeration. This literally has negative pushback on block now. Look at where Law is now. He literally clips inside of your body and like it gets forced out by the game engine. So this has literally negative pushback now. I believe in Heat, this also has less pushback. Yeah, it has less pushback in Heat as well, so that is good. But it is very funny that that is the case. All of his nunchuck moves, they recover less heat, so that is very good. This move no longer has a counter hit property, so it's guaranteed on a counter hit, but I believe this second kick would give like a guaranteed follow-up. It does not do that anymore. Dragon Charge 1. This is +3 on block now and goes into stance. That is cool. And all of Law's just frames from Dragon Charge, they now come out 1 frame faster. That is cool, but the biggest thing that this does is it lets him connect a while standing 4 on counter hit into a just frame Dragon Charge forward 1. This is very hard to do, and every time he is wrong, he is -11, but this is what it looks like. Oh, I did a first try. I'm actually the GOAT for that. But yeah, 32 damage. That is good stuff. All right, let's talk about Lee. I hate this character, so I'm gonna sound very annoyed, and it's because I am. So, that's what it is. I'm not gonna act like, this is really cool that he got buffed. So let's get into it. While standing 1-4, this has a just frame now. This will wall splat. He has a 13 frame wall splat now from crouch. Cool. His slide, this goes into Hitman now. This doesn't matter. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it does go into Hitman now, so that is cool. This sounds like a nerf. It is not. This move is buffed. Down 4-3 before. This move is obviously his craziest move. It is no longer homing. Again, sounds like a nerf. It is not. Why is this not a nerf? Well, this tracks his weak side. So, for all intents and purposes, this not being home anymore doesn't matter. If you step left, which is what you want to do against Lee, this will hit you. Not only that, this is now +2. So if you try to jab, you will now get counter hit by 2-2-3 if your back is against the wall. So that is obnoxious. You can still armor, I guess. That will counter hit launch you. You can duck, but he can just do it again, or he can hop kick you. Yeah, not good. Not only that, let's say, okay, this tracks left, so you're gonna be the brave soldier who steps to Lee's strong side when he's in heat. This tracks right. So, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that Leo is both an install character and a wall splatting heat smash character. Both of those have been severely nerfed. That is good. The bad news is that Leo got colossal buffs. It would not surprise me if this was one of the best characters in the game in Season 3. First, this move. This now grants install. Great. That is cool. His armor is faster now. Great. Don't know why that's a thing. Down forward 2+3. This now has no pushback, so this pickup is free. There is no skill here. Everyone can get that pickup. Now, there was a nerf here, so this knocks them away, so that is a nerf. That is good. We're happy about that. We're smiling really hard right now. Side step 1+2. This used to be a very awkward to pick up counter hit launcher because they would like do that back roll that Alisa's, that one kick she does, where they like roll across the back. You have to like dash up and do a pickup that way. It was pretty hard to do. Yeah. Yep. Yes. QCF1. This has a longer range now. It doesn't seem like it's that much longer range, but it has a longer range now, so that is cool. While standing 1+2, this gives, I think this used to make them roll back before. Now Leo gets Oki here, so that's a thing that exists. Don't know what that's about. QCF 2-1. This also used to induce that same back roll. Now it's just a regular launcher. It's a crumple stun. Leo's getting a colossal launch every single time. When Leo's in this stance, this wall splats now. This didn't used to wall splat. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Leo also has a kick parry. I didn't even know that Leo had a kick parry. But this parries kicks. That does 30 damage now instead of 22. Yeah, and then there was some hitbox stuff. Whatever. Cool. If you play a Leo, that's really awesome. I'm happy for you. Smile. Up next is Leroy. You can do his back 1+2 from her Hermit now. So that is cool. That is clearly a buff, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. His forward 2, this now tracks left. However, it is a high. So Leroy is already very, very weak to side step left duck. This does not change that. It does mean if you're going to be lazy about your defense, then he will be able to call you out for it, but it's not that big of a deal. What's a bigger deal is the last hit of this string now guarantees this. So that is pretty annoying. Beyond that, if this first hit of down forward 3 counter hits, then this whole thing is guaranteed. This wall splats, so if he gets a combo from that, be careful about that. If your back's against the wall, this is 16 frames and this is +7 on block. So if your back's against the wall, you need to be really careful while mashing. Keep that in mind. and down 3-2. This is 19 damage instead of 16 damage. That is a meaningful buff, not that big of a deal in my opinion. Beyond that, when he is in Hermit, this second hit, I believe that was a launcher, that no longer launches, but it is -2 instead of -6. So cool. We also had some hitbox stuff, but that's basically it. He is better. I don't know if it's meaningfully better though. So I'm gonna preface this by saying I think Lidia sucks. I thought she sucked before season 3. I thought she was really bad in season 2, and she was overplayed. That's where I stand on Lidia. She got obliterated. I could not tell you why the perception of this character is so different. She got bodied. So let's get into it. She can heat burst and heat smash from her horse stance now. So from the arms cross stance, she can heat burst and heat smash. Cool. That is good stuff. What is a good buff is these strings. The pushback was different if you didn't blue spark. So there were a lot of combos where if you didn't hit this blue spark, and if you didn't hit this blue spark, you would get less pushback, which means your combo would just drop because they wouldn't be able to hit wall. That is no longer true. You get the same pushback no matter what. The only thing you get is damage by doing the enhanced inputs. Cool. The damage of QCF2 is down. Damage of this is down. And the damage of this is down by 6. I don't know why they nerfed it out by so much. So, cool. We also kind of buffed the 1+2 from horse stance. So, if she has 3 marks, this will actually knock down. I don't know if you guys saw this. So, I'm going to do it again. And we're going to pay attention to her marks. This burns one of her marks. It does knock down, and that's good. I don't know if it's worth burning one of her marks. So it burns one, and then we will turn off the not set, and that is guaranteed for 47 damage. That's good. It burns one of her marks. Yeah, so cool. When she is in cat stance, this will do 4 more damage if she has 3 marks. So it normally does 16. Now it does 20. That is cool. Apparently this had a follow-up. I did not know that, but this has a follow-up. This will also burn one of her marks. It will 4 break and do 37 damage. If your opponent ducks this, you are -18. And you still burn one of your marks, by the way. Okay, let's go over some of the other stuff. So this does less chip damage now, which is probably fine. That's good. It used to do 17, now it does 13. Uncharged, it would do 9, now it does 7. That is good stuff. This attack throw. This is obviously very, very, very good. This burns one of her marks. Okay, cool. This no longer burns gray health. This no longer burns gray health. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with this set section just because I understand this character a lot better than most of the characters. This is my main, of course. Lili got mega buffed and I could not for the life of me tell you why. So let's just start. This move. Usually this move kind of sucked. You could kind of use it in the neutral, but it was a -7 on block, and on counter hit, you got this 38 damage, wall splat. This is just a weird move. Most of the times, you were getting it as a miss input for an instant while running 1+2. So, cool. This goes into back turn now, and it goes in at -3. This means, because it's -3, if I hold back, it takes 6 frames to turn around. This is completely safe if I go into back turn. Not only that, at -3, this is a rough situation to be in if you're going to try to press. If you press anything slower than a jab, this is hitting you. That's also -1 now instead of -5. If you try to duck, the armor will hit you, obviously. If you try to duck, the 1+2 will hit you. So that is annoying. If you try to crouch jab, this will jump over it. So that's annoying. The mid will also knock you away. This move is crazy. Not only that, on counter hit, we get this, which is more damage, by the way, and also still wall splice. Could not tell you why that was a thing. Down forward 4-4. This used to be a really chunky 13 frame punish. It used to be 35 damage, but it was negative on hit, so that was annoying. And it's obviously delayable, so that is good stuff too. This goes into back turn at +2, so it is very much Lily's turn. Yeah, could not tell you why they did that. Not only that, you catch a lot of people with delayed down forward 4-4. That's guaranteed. Yeah, so that is not correct. Next, we have up forward 1. This is a hard spike now. I think this QCF3 was always guaranteed. I have literally never used this move before, and honestly, I still probably never will. But cool, the damage has been lowered, and this spikes now. Because it spikes, it prevents tech rolls. What does that mean? Well, at the wall, if you want to do a 3-hit tornado, this is now an option. So you can sidestep right and evade every single wake-up option, which is cool. Normally what you would do is something like this. So you would get 61 here, and you wouldn't get very good Oki. Her 3-hit tornadoes aren't very good, but now you do get less damage, but you can do that, right? And that is pretty insane. So yeah, it has very minor utility at the wall. It's still bad, but it has very minor utility at the wall, which is cool stuff. Something else that she can do at the wall, because of this going into back turn, is she can do this. So she can go into back turn there. Now, if you tech roll, you will actually evade this down too. So let me do this. So you see here, if you tech roll to either side, you evade that down too. But if she thinks you're going to press, you will get hit by that down too, basically no matter what option you pick. So yeah, that is fine at the wall. I'm personally not going to use that, but it is cool tech that you can use if you would like. Tracking on down 1-2 has been improved. The down 2-2 cancel has been removed. And unfortunately, this was my favorite thing. The 3+4 cross up, that is completely gone now. You cannot do that after combos. So your Oki is just try to get a stomp instead. But yeah, the 3+4 cross up is gone now. That is unfortunate. The only other thing worth talking about is her back turn punishment. Her back turn punishment before did have some counterplay, but now there is none. So this was always a thing that you could do. If you hold back, you will get launched no matter what. If you don't hold back, she just gets a back turn Matterhorn combo, which her back turn Matterhorn combos are very good. They're like very minorly less damage. So cool. Another place we got counterplay is she could do this, where she could do this twice in the down forward 4-4. You could duck the second hit. So cool, that is very annoying. So if you eat all of this, then you would take 669. If you duck the second hit, you would actually launch that second set of jabs. So again, there is counterplay there. We also had back 2-1 into a back turn 1+2. This is a full launch. If you don't turn around here, then this will happen, and all she gets here is a QCF3. It's still 75 damage, but it's not that huge. One of the issues with back 2-1 is this range is pretty pitiful. So you can see here it's missing from like relatively close. Forward 1+2 fixes all of this. One, this hits from very far away. So that is cool. But not only that, you can do this. And if you do this, this is all guaranteed for 71 damage. There's nothing that any character can do. If you don't turn around, that is guaranteed. And obviously, if you do turn around, that is still guaranteed, right? So if I do this, all guaranteed for 71 damage. That is very, very good, and this becomes an extremely consistent, no counterplay, back turn punish. Very, very powerful. On top of that, this is also guaranteed. They can't duck that because you are solo plus. There's nothing they can do about that. That is very good. And obviously you can still just do this. And if you think they're going to hold back, then this is guaranteed as well. So it is a little less damage, but again, this hits from so much further away that it doesn't matter that it's less damage. Miary Zo has gotten a bit more utility in her ability to like side switch. So this being able to side switch is really, really nice. They're really leaning into her ability to have like a lot of control over how her combos work. So if she wants to switch sides, she can. So against Mishima, she can like switch sides on purpose just to mess up their execution. She also has the other move where she can like fix her side splats. So that is cool stuff. One of the issues that she had was that her up 4, this would jump her over grounded opponents. This no longer does that. So that is good for her anyways. Her Hwoarang 2, this has more active frames, so it's even harder to step. Don't know why that's the case. This move, this now spikes. She doesn't get anything guaranteed, but she does something like this. So this spikes and floor breaks now, so this prevents you from tech rolling. She doesn't get anything guaranteed there, at least I don't think she does. But cool, being able to spike there is nice. That is pretty much the only thing that is different. Oh, also, this throw. If this throw was broken, then she could be hit back turned if you mash there. That's not true anymore. Overall, I would say she got a minor buff that she did not need. I think this character is very underrated. Up next, let's talk about Nina. I'm really surprised this character got nerfed as much as she did. She did get some buffs. So for instance, her full crouch down forward 2. This is a new move. This will burn gray health, 14 frame punish. That is good stuff. That, you know, no one's complaining about that. We have while standing 1-4. This can be canceled into a sidestep now. So that is cool. Nina's 4-4 string. Because this has been made plus 12 instead of plus 11, this is now a like a real counter hit launcher. I don't believe this was a counter hit launcher before. So that is cool stuff there. Definitely not complaining about that. Down forward 1-2. This has no counter hit property anymore. The second hit. This gave something guaranteed on counter hit anymore, but this gives nothing now. So cool. They nerfed wipe the floor. This is an instant tornado now. That is crazy. I am very surprised that this is an instant tornado. I mean, I'm not complaining. Very, very surprised I can nerf. Back to 2-2. This no longer counter hit launchers. It just guarantees a heat engager. Yeah, really, really surprising changes here. All got some like new string mix-ups, which I don't know if it's very good. But we have forward 4-2. This is the new move. So the thing here is that this you used to only have this mid extension. This mid extension is minus 13, and now this high by itself is minus 14. It's usually a minus 9, but it can be mixed up with this high. I think this is just worse that this is this way, but okay, whatever. That's fine. Forward 4-2, 1+2. This has I don't know if this had this much pushback, but cool. This burns less heat now. So this actually jails. This always used to jail, but this jails. So because this jails, you can actually still apply the same counterplay of, you know, you sidestep with your down button and it'll beat all of the other options. That's still true, but this jails. So this won't like clip you for trying to sidestep, which is really nice. The only other like really meaningful change is that forward 2-1 if done with the perfect input. This is a -1 now. If you're applying the appropriate counterplay to this string, this doesn't matter, but if you are blocking it, it is -1. And it has a lot of pushback now. So cool, that is good stuff. Oh, also sway 1. This hits grounded now, and it does the same wall splatting or ground breaking knockdown that a lot of these other moves do. So cool. I think Paul is honestly slightly worse after this. A lot of people were saying that Paul is buffed, but this hitting grounded just isn't that big of a deal in my opinion. So in my opinion, he's a little bit worse. So Raven he can use this like overhead flip from Soul Zone now. This move sucks, so I don't know why you'd want to use this move. But cool, that is a move that he can use now. He can also parry while he is in Soul Zone. So that is actually a pretty meaningful buff. That is good for him. This back one, this gives a, so this new overhead flip, funny enough, this is now guaranteed off his back one counter hitting. So that is actually a buff, but it's only a buff because of, you know, that change that they made. So that is cool. Here's up forward 3+4. This is a full-on launcher now. I do not believe this was a launcher before, but cool. This move is no longer launch punishable. It's only a -13, but it is a launcher now. I don't think it was a launcher before, so that is good stuff. Back turn down 2. This just gives plus 13G, so your opponent can block, but that is cool. I think it knocked down before, but I don't remember what this move did on counter before, so do not quote me on that. CD1 is weird. So even though this is more minus when he transitions into Soul Zone, this is -2 instead of 0. What happens with CD1 too is that this isn't a block string anymore. So this doesn't jail, meaning if you mash on this, then you will actually get hit by the shadow instead of it just jailing. You can't mash your 13 frame punish anymore. So that is actually a buff. On top of that, the CD1 it now guarantees a down back 2-1 here. So cool. That is a buff. And CD1 +2. This is now 0 on block instead of +2. I don't think this matters that much, but it is what it is. Soul Zone 1. This also guarantees a down back 2-1. So that is cool stuff there. So yeah, that's basically it. I think Raven is about the same or slightly better. Yeah, I don't think this stuff is ultra meaningful, though he does get a new launcher, so that is cool. So now we have Reina. It says that her 112 is different now, or yeah, her flash punch. I don't know what's different about this. They said reduce the recovery time by 18 frames. I don't know what this means, so this is better, I think. I couldn't tell you. So cool. From Unsoku, we have Unsoku 2. We have this homing high now on a counter hit. This gives a down forward 1-2. That is good stuff there. The forward 3+4. This actually doesn't realign anymore. That is really good stuff there. Down back 2. This now has a counter property. It is +3 instead of a -3 on counter hit. So that is cool stuff there. Sentai 2, this is a -6 on block, so cool. If she transitions into Heaven's Wrath, the parry window is bigger, so that is really nice. Down 2 also does the floor breaking knockdown. Now, the CD3, this is harder to do if you are bad at Bishimas. So you would do a deep dash CD3 here. And I'm really bad at doing this, but that is guaranteed there, so that is cool. Beyond that, I don't know if this was guaranteed before, but you actually get a down for 1. I don't know if this was guaranteed before, but that is guaranteed now, so that is cool. Beyond that, it floor breaks, so that is good stuff. Shaheen got pretty meaningfully better, which is nice. The biggest change, in my opinion, is that he can do full crouch down forward 2 from his stealth step now. This is important because this tracks right. So Shaheen, normally you could just kind of sidestep right and evade this entire stance, or sidestep right blocks, sidestep right duck. You can do stuff like that. That now tracks right. So that is very good for Mr. Shaheen. Beyond that, we can also do like a snake dash. So from full crouch, you can do down forward 3+4, then do down back to cancel, and then you can loop these. So that is cool. If you can do it fast enough, it looks pretty cool. So 1, 2, 4, this hits grounded now, so that is cool. Good stuff for Shaheen. Wall running 2. This does this like spiral. I think before this would cause a back roll. So Shaheen actually gets Oki now, because he can like run up and apply whatever Oki he wants. So that is cool stuff as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Shaheen is more or less the same, but the fact that he can do this from his stance is a very, very big deal. So yeah, counterplay against Shaheen is going to be quite a bit worse. All right, let's talk about Steve. So his Sonic Fang has been nerfed so that if you step at the first hit, the second hit is much less likely to connect. So this mainly matters against characters like Lili and Alisa, where this now whiffs. So that is unfortunate. They do have to sidewalk right to evade it. I haven't actually tried a sidewalk left. Yeah, so it still tracks sidewalk left. But if you use this in the neutral against someone who is sidewalking, then this is much more likely to whiff. And on this +6, Lili and Alisa can step the second hit. Do note that regular characters still cannot step that second hit. So this is still fine, but Lili and Alisa are pretty tough matchups anyways, and it's even worse now because they can step the Sonic Fang if they commit to stepping the opposite direction. So that is good stuff. We also have another really huge nerf. Flicker jabs don't jail anymore. I couldn't tell you why this was changed, but these don't jail anymore. So yeah, that makes counterplay against the flicker jabs much, much bigger. Down back 1+2, this had weird issues where if your opponent was hitting into it, then what could happen is that they could hit into it and then the pushback of the move, or how much Steve moved back, would make the whole armor whiff. So that is not the case anymore. This will now be guaranteed every single time as long as your opponent doesn't block it. So that is good stuff there. Nothing super crazy. When Steve is in heat, his clinch, there was an issue where sometimes you couldn't break it if it was done on counter hit. So that is not true anymore. You can always break it on counter hit, though the break window is smaller, of course. Finally, Steve can also quick spin, and he can throw from Lionheart, so that is cool stuff for him. There is also a bug that was introduced with this patch, where if you counter hit a flicker jab, normally you could quick spin too in order to connect that. That does not work at specific angles anymore. So this is not real anymore. Yeah, that is -23 if they miss that at a specific angle. This doesn't happen at every angle, of course, but it is worth keeping in mind, both playing and playing against Steve. Hopefully this will get fixed. I wouldn't worry too much about this, but that's a big deal. In my opinion, Victor is one of the only characters to get like a brand new move. So not, a move getting a transition, but just a brand new move that is really, really good. So this up back 2, this is safe. You can also charge this. Why is this move good? This tracks his weak side. Not only does it track his weak side, this goes into Perfumer at +9. This move is very, very powerful. I expect to see this move a lot. Beyond that, another really crazy move, at least in my opinion, is this back 4. This got buffed to be +14. Before, Victor would get this. So 40 damage, +19 into Perfumer. Now he gets this. That is really, really good. That's insane. So that move is much, much better. That is good stuff. They did also buff a few of his EI moves, but not meaningfully in my opinion. They are still buffed, but it's not like a huge deal. So this up back 1-1, he can do this in EI stance. This is now -9 if he faints. You can still launch this. He still can't armor or cancel out of stance to prevent himself from getting launched. So I do not think that this matters, at least if you have a 15 frame launcher. So cool. Beyond that, EI 4, this is -12 instead of -13. So cool. Again, I don't think this is like the biggest deal ever. It does mean that you get a slightly worse punish, but that is fine. And the EI down 1, this is 0 instead of -2, and it has pushback. So it is a true reset to neutral. So yeah, I do think that Victor was pretty meaningfully buffed. In my opinion, I know a lot of people don't share this opinion, but he was one of the worst characters in the game. He wasn't bad by any means, but for me, he was a bottom 5, bottom 10. So this should help him out quite a bit. It's not colossal or anything, but it does help, especially if you're playing against players who are trying to apply appropriate counterplay, you are now getting bigger rewards for counterplaying their counterplay. Next is Xiaoyu. I think this character has been broken and she is only getting stronger. First, this is her new move. She can do this from back turn. This animation is really buggy. I'm assuming they're gonna fix this animation, but she like turns forward in one frame and then just does the move normally. I'm assuming that animation is going to get fixed, but cool. You also can't go under this anymore. So even though she's hitting the top of your head, you can no longer go under that with evasion. So that is cool. She can return to crouch after her while standing 3. So that is cool. I don't think that matters, but that is cool. This move was already counter hit confirmable, or it was just hit confirmable in general. The timing is pretty tight, but you can hit confirm this. So this is now safe. This is my final block. So yeah, you can just fish with this. And whenever you're right, you can just rip the confirmation and you are good to go. So that is cool. 443, this was also buffed to give a guaranteed back to 1. So that is all legit. That is guaranteed now. Before, this used to be plus 12G. You just couldn't move, but you could still block. Now you cannot block. So that is awesome. I'm smiling really hard right now. Next, full crouch down forward 2-1. This lull was already super annoying. It's now plus 5 instead of plus 3. So that is really fun. When Xiaoyu is in back turn, the 3+4, this now gives this obnoxious counter hit animation. There is a guaranteed follow-up. I don't know what it is, but that is 100% guaranteed. And yeah, Xiaoyu. Don't know why she was buffed. She was already nuts, and now she is stronger. So that is really cool. I'm not going to go over the Yoshimitsu changes. 1, there is a lot of them, but 2, I haven't put out the video for Yoshimitsu yet. So whenever I lab Yoshimitsu, we'll just talk about all of that stuff in that video, but we are going to skip Yoshimitsu for now. Finally, we will talk about Zafina, who received no meaningful changes. If she does up forward 3, she can recover in crouch, or well, in Mantis stance. So that is cool. When she is in Scarecrow, she can just manually transition to Mantis by doing that back roll. It looks nasty, but you know, it is what it is. Beyond that, her forward 3, you recover standing now. So if she chooses not to go into stance, then she can actually get a jab punish here that is guaranteed. So that's cool. That is a good change. This is a really incredible move. If you're playing Zafina, you should use that move more. And that is basically it. That is the entire patch. So now I'm going to put a graphic on screen and we are going to talk about the patch overall. All right, so this is where I think every character stands in terms of how they got changed. I think in terms of the misses, oh, actually June should be up here. I think in terms of the misses, it's these 6 characters, Feng, Dragunov, and King. Although I think Feng is the least egregious out of the other 8. So we'll call it 8.5 in terms of misses. I also think that Eddy and Lidia were over nerfed, but again, we did all want nerfs across the board, so it is what it is. In terms of the misses, Dragunov should have gotten nerfed. The fact that he got a very minor, it's basically a placebo buff, but it is a buff. The fact that he got a minor buff is pretty insane to me. King getting basically no nerfs and then getting more stuff is insane to me. Homing giant swing is still in the game. Down forward 2. It does track less, but it's still a 13 frame mid-safe counter hit launcher. His heat smash is still an infinity button. This character being mostly intact or almost completely intact on top of getting more stuff is absurd. I don't know why that's the case. For Fengwei, the biggest thing about this character is that he can shifting clouds from back turn now, which means that he can parry from back turn. I don't love that. I don't know if that's healthy, but it does also open up more counterplay because if he tries to parry, that you have your outs to that, obviously. So these are the like big problem characters. A lot of people are saying that Jin is like not that buffed, and I disagree. The heat smash not wall splatting is certainly a good change, but it is a nerf. And 2-4 not being a strong arrow tailspin is also a nerf, but Jin will just change his routes to either lose not that much damage or to basically get the same damage. So I'm not sure that's that big of a deal. Beyond that, down 2 has a counter hit property. Again, I don't know why this move has a counter hit property. 214 gives good Oki if the last hit counter hits. I don't know why that is in the game. His Omen mix-up, the mid launcher, so not the special mid, but just the regular mid launcher, that's safe now. I don't know why that's safe. Now, you kind of just have to not duck, and then I'm just going to eat the Hell Sweep. Because why would you duck a safe mid launcher? Like, you just can't duck there. So that is not good. I don't know why that is in the game. Down forward 2 has a mid extension that is plus on block now. Don't know why that's in the game. So yeah, Jin got really insane buffs. Leo was already a very powerful character. For me, he was right outside of top 5. I think I had him at 6 or 7. He is almost assuredly the best character in the game now. I do not know why Leo, like, it's funny because Leo is a character that had both a wall splatting heat smash and an install, and Leo still got insane buffs. Don't know why that happened. Lee is a character whose heat was really toxic, and now it is somehow worse because the down 1+2, instead of being linear, it now tracks to the right, which that is Lee's strong side. But when you have another homing mid that's also plus on block and also wall splats and gives a guaranteed follow-up that tracks his weak side, what are you supposed to do now? I don't know. This character is AIDS. I don't know why they buffed this character. Ridiculous. This character is insane. On top of having a 13 frame wall splatting punish. So, you know, you block a hatchet kick and your back's against the wall, you're taking 80 damage. Nice. Xiaoyu is a character who I think is like sleeper OP and has been sleeper OP since the game was released. And she got buffed. Yeah, I don't know what that is about. Her poking is better now by a lot. She has a new hit confirm that just does a decent chunk of damage. This character is better now, and she's been good. June is a character who her wall carry got improved and her punishment got improved. She was already, for me, she was right outside of top 10. And she is clearly a top 10, probably a top 5 character now. I don't know why this character got buffed as much as she did. Lili is a character who, Alyssa's the same way, but Lili is in a much better state than Alisa is. Lili is a character who, as the overall power of the game goes down, she will get stronger. As frames and tracking get worse, the movement-based characters will naturally get better. That's just how game balance works. So, why are we also buffing Lili on top of this? Giving her a good 13 frame punish, I think is fine. I don't mind the down forward 4-4 change. I think that's a totally fine change. The forward 1+2, that needs to go. I think it's fine if it goes into back turn, but it being a -3 means that you can't even jab punish it if she holds back. So yeah, it's really, really annoying. I do think that at the very least it should be -4, but I don't even know if that move should go into back turn if I'm being completely honest. It does clean up her back turn punishment though, which is cool. I don't know if it needed to be better, but you know, it is what it is. So those are like the big misses of the patch. I would say that's, you know, 8.5 if you include the Feng. I'm still undecided on if I think that's that bad, but there are 8 really big misses of the patch, which that sounds bad, and it is, don't get me wrong. But if we compare that to Season 2, where there were 36 characters and there were 36 huge misses, 8 is a much lower number. So I don't know why people are so down on this patch. I mean, my character got buffed, so you know I'm not going to act like that's not awesome. But it's annoying that my character got buffed. I don't think my character needed to be buffed. So yeah, it's not good, at least for the big misses. But again, compared to Season 2, this is so much better. Every other character either got okay buffs that aren't that big of a deal, or they got no meaningful changes, which is fine because a lot of these characters weren't top tier characters, they were in the bottom half of the roster, or they got small nerfs, which is totally fine, or they got big nerfs, right? So I think that most of these changes are totally fine, though I am a little bit worried about the Victor changes. I haven't decided about how I feel about the Victor changes, but yeah, 8-ish misses is not that bad. I do think that this patch has potential, especially in, 2 or 3 more changes. At least 2 or 3 more big patches. I think that Season 3 can end up being in a really, really healthy state. People dooming as much as they are is very, very weird to me. So, yeah, I don't know. But overall, I'm reasonably happy with how things are going. I would give this patch like a 7. Like, I think it's fine. I think it's good even. But this isn't like the save Tekken patch that everyone thought it was going to be. There were a lot of changes, including some good system changes that are welcome. There were some misses, of course, but most of the stuff is pretty good here. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I know this one's a longer one, but I did want to detail all of the changes. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.